Good morning, good evening, everyone. This is Luda Kopikina with GAI Insights. Welcome to Daily AI News Review, where we rate articles essential, important, and optional, getting you to the right trends and the right things in very quickly. So today I have Ankash, John, Paul, and a special guest, Sandeep Sasheri, who is a senior leader from the financial industry with experience in American Express, UBS, and the like. Welcome, Sandeep.
Thank you.
Tremendous. So you could follow along. The articles are at gaiinsights.com/articles. Ankash, we're ready for the first article, please.
Sure, thanks, Luda. So the first one that we have for today comes from Cohere, and Cohere has introduced Command A Vision, their multimodal AI built for business.
Yeah, so Kahir joins a set of models with this capability, clearly focused on enterprise use for risk assessment, video recognition, and the like. What did you think about this, John?
Yeah, I was going to give this between optional and important. Cohere is creating, new products that are pretty cool. This notion of, dealing with multimodal data is absolutely essential in organizations because the vast majority of data is unstructured and often, has different types of symbolic information in it, or even, videos and so forth. So, but there's a lot of other, products out there that help do this. And so, Cohere is marginally better. It's not an open source product, so you have to pay for it. It's a closed product, you have to pay for it and so forth. So to me, it was top end of optional product announcement.
That's a new rating, top end of optional. What did you think about this, Sandeep?
Yeah, I also felt the same way that, with all the advances, I think multimodal is the way to go, of course. Cohere is doing a good job, but, it's a crowded space. And I would say, yeah, optional.
Okay. Ankash, you've talked to a lot of vendors and Cohere is one of them. What did you think?
Optional for me, Luda, as well, because there are lots of competitors out in the market who are offering these things. I think Cohere is just catching up. I think the only thing in favor of Cohere is that it provides the mechanism or the ecosystem to use this rapidly in their ecosystem, right? For enterprises, that is a big thing compared to other set of models, right? So that's tilt between optional and important for me.
Okay.
But
All right.
optional, I would say.
Paul, we're going optional. Okay.
Yeah, definitely optional. I mean, I think they are leaning, they are leaning hardly into the enterprise. Their strength has not been the UI. They've really been focusing on the underlying model. So, and it's a product announcement. So yeah. Optional.
Okay, optional it is. Let's proceed, Ankash, to the second article.
Okay, the second article is about WAN 2.2, which is a new multimodal model with video and image generation capabilities.
Yeah, they introduce a number of innovations, how to get the latency down and how to get on-prem and it's open source. So what did you think about this, Sandeep?
I actually really like the interface, the smoothness of the video creation, the ease of use, as well as the speed at which it came back from my responses or from my prompts was actually quite impressive. And I gave it a very specific prompt to test the capabilities. And my prompt was create a video of Gandhi in Sabarmati Ashram doing Surya Namaskar at the dawn of light. He's sweating but has a calm demeanor. Now, there's some very specific things in this prompt. There's the word a specific person, Gandhi, a specific place, the ashram that Gandhi, stayed in, and a very specific yoga pose, Surya Namaskar, at a specific time in the day. Now, so many of these specifics can trip a model very easily, and it came back with a fantastic, you know, 5-second video. I truly was impressed. The only one thing that it got wrong, that Surya Namaskar is done facing the sun and not facing away from the sun. Now, this is acceptable, I would say.
Details.
Details matter, right? If you're going to be the world's leading best, details matter. So then I tried the same prompt in Gemini's, VO, Google's VO, as well as in Sora, OpenAI's Sora. And it was fascinating comparison, by the way. So Gemini refused to make the video because it did not. My prompt did not pass their privacy guidelines because the word Gandhi was there. So I played around with it, and it still did not accept the prompt at all. Then I had to really coax it and say, "You can do this," because I've essentially taken away the place, I've taken away the pose, I've taken away the person's name, and it gave me a video that does a very good job, by the way, but it does nothing to my original prompt. I did the same thing with Sora, and Sora actually did a fantastic job. The likeness to Gandhi was missing completely, though. But it got everything else right. So I'd say between the three, Van was at the top of the list. From a importance or essentiality perspective, it's a niche product. It's a product that would be incredibly important for certain class of professionals, but not for general public. For general public, it's a nice advancement.
Optional. Okay, so it sounds like optional from you, Sandeep. What did you think, John?
John,
I was leaning more toward important because it's open source and incredibly performant. Once again, the Chinese are really, it's game on here, in terms of the smaller models, the specific models, and so forth. It's just, fantastic work, and what you're saying, Sandeep, I mean, just, spectacular results. I didn't do the test on the thing, but that's a pretty complex, and specific prompt you gave. And I think it's going to be interesting to see like where Guardrail's playing all this thing, right? Because there are a lot of people who are going to want to take, well-known figures around the world, and the guardrails and the proprietary models are going to keep them from using a Gandhi or somebody like that. But the world's going to want to be able to do what you did, Sandeep. So I was leaning more toward important. I think AI leaders need to understand what's happening with these Chinese models.
Yeah, and if you scroll down almost to the end of the article, Ankaj, it has an explanation of why its adherence to prompt is much better, because the denoising mechanism is better. They do it twice. They actually apply a number of new ideas to train the model. So I think it is worth highlighting that as well. So it sounds like we're going important, Paul, or do you still think it's optional?
Well, no, I think this optional is important. I do think it is. We need to find a better one. The essential stuff that's screwing around with your brand needs to be it. I don't know if you guys, what's taken over the internet is that phallic robot that's doing all that stuff. That's got millions of views in 2 days. And the other thing that's going on is all those bunnies and animals jumping up and down those trampolines in backyards that everyone thinks is real and it's 100% fake. And I think you start seeing that done with real brands. You have real risk here. And I think the viral nature of taking Coca-Cola and having it doing something, that goes viral that's against brand absolutely needs to be on the AI leaders thing. It's not this article, but we're going to need to find something to help them understand how real that is.
Yeah. Okay. Important it is. Let's proceed.
Paul, you remind me of the time I tried to convince McDonald's to open source the Hamburglar and Ronald McDonald let their users remix all that brand stuff. They looked at me like I had 3 heads.
Okay.
Well, shorten the meeting at least.
Proceeding to the next one, Ankash, please.
Okay, the next one comes from semi-analysis and talks about robotics level of autonomy.
Yeah, it's a longer version from a very recognized source, and it goes over the semi-analysis that goes over the progression of technology behind the robots, and they put it in several levels here. What did you think about this, Ankash?
Luda, I think it's an important read for AI leader right now because we are seeing rapid adoption of robots across different verticals now. And this article provides a really good overview of that. So it frames the progress on two axes. So there's agency, which is decision making, and then dexterity, which is the physical skill of the robot. And then it provides that comparison across 5 levels. So starting from a robot which has a fully scripted motion to level 5, which is a delicate force dependent robot or doing tasks which are force dependent. So I think very good information as semi-analysis always does. Not essential because not everybody is interested in this, but certainly we have weekend coming ahead, so important and a good read.
Okay, important from Ankash. What did you think about this, Sandeep?
I'd say the same.
Okay. Great. So how about Paul? Stay important. What do you think?
Same.
Okay. John,
Yeah.
going important here. Any
I'm
disagreement?
okay with important. The sad thing is that semi-analysis guys, I think they're they spend too much time. You did go through the whole thing. They spend way too much time recapitulating history, and they've got some very interesting things to say. But the thinnest part of the article really is toward the end, in terms of where things are and where they're going, which is unfortunate because it's as an academic, you read lots of papers like this, which are really good literature reviews, but then the frontier of the thinking and the theoretical work is shortchanged because they've run out of juice or they haven't got any ideas. But it's a good kind of historical compendium. I think it's less good at really putting scenarios, extrapolations, or any future implications. That's the latest part, which is unfortunate.
But on the positive side, John, they in general have very good analysis. I mean, I really like in general.
Oh yeah. No, and they talk to real folks, and beautifully they go across. I think they do a great job of going across the technical issues at a certain level of depth, the economic issues, the supply issues, the management issues. So they are rich and deep, in comparison to let's say OpenAI's case studies or something, which tend to be once over lately.
Yeah. Okay, important it is. Let's proceed.
Okay, moving on to the next one. This is a case study from AWS and talks about how Nippon India Mutual Fund improved the accuracy of their AI assistant responses using advanced RAG methods on Amazon Bedrock.
Yes. In your industry, Sandeep, what did you think?
So I really like the case study. It's a very specific, concrete articulation of return on investment, which is often lacking in AI projects these days. And this use case around converting your documents into something that's easy to utilize by either your customers through a chatbot approach or by your own employees is really a classic use case that is pervasive in organizations today. And RAG has been the savior, if you will, of bringing Gen AI to life for most companies. The challenge with traditional RAG has been that while it makes it look like so easy to do, and turns out that in real world, the queries are complex. RAG doesn't do a fantastic job of chunking it concepts well together, and therefore you get partial answers, and it still ends up hallucinating to a level that doesn't make it as useful. So for those who have utilized RAG, this new approach that Nippon utilized, I say new, it's not really new, but they have it kind of explained beautifully. For those people, it's really important to utilize this as a case study to elevate their game And the key benefits that they describe of utilizing semantic chunking based on concepts rather than just words, if you will. And then how do you actually break a question into multiple questions and reorder and re-rank your results is really just well done in this case study. And the results are obvious, if you will, really high uplift from an accuracy perspective, impact perspective. So I found the whole write-up to be just very well done. And any company can follow this as a recipe. My only caution is that most companies are already doing this, but those who are not, it's like the recipe book right here in front of you. So I'd say high importance.
Yeah. Okay. It's high important. I was actually essential because I think it is a RAG mechanism that is, or tool that is known across, but it needs to be reinforced. This is one recipe that you could follow to reinforce it with really high results. So I think it's an essential article for me. What did you think, John?
Yeah, I had it as optional. I thought the notion of re-ranking output from RAG and then is a known technique. I agree with you, Sandeep, in terms of the technical and process articulation. I thought that the economic and role articulation was very weak. Didn't really. I couldn't find anything in there that was about costs and value and also basically how it changed the nature of the work. I thought the technical description was quite nice. I mean, I think you make a good case. I mean, I could certainly get to important but this isn't a democracy. That's the beauty of it. Alrighty.
Yeah. Ankash, what did you think about this one?
Luda, I was on essential for this one. As Sandeep mentioned, it really details out or provides sort of a framework on how to use RAG in a different manner. And I think the improvements are there as well. So if we see the results here, I think they have increased accuracy by 95%, hallucination reduced by 95%. So there are impacts here, not economic impacts as John would have mentioned, but yeah.
So it's not an ROI, but it is the whole RAG situation was for reducing hallucinations that had a good impact. And now we are finding that it's not good enough. And this is the tightening the screw. So this is important in my book. Paul, what did you think? Oh, we lost Paul. No, here. Okay. Paul, what did you think? You're on mute.
I'm with Sandeep. I think one of the things that on the central article, something that we believe is important enough for the AI leader to make sure they're forwarded to another functional leader, the tech leader here. And I think for all the reasons Sandeep mentioned, this is something that everyone is using RAG. Everyone's trying frustrating ways to get better here. You should at least be aware of this. So this needs to be forwarded. And from that sense, it needs to be essential.
Okay. John, democracy wins. Essential it is.
There is hope every now and then.
Okay, let's go forward.
Yeah, the next one comes from OpenAI, and it's a case study with Intercom, where they are sharing 3 lessons for creating a sustainable AI advantage. Yeah,
good articulation of the lessons, nothing necessarily very new. John, what did you think about this? You're on mute.
Yeah, I had this thing as kind of on the border between optional and important. I think that this notion of Intercom adopting this and making a big commitment to it right after they came out with GPT 3.5 made a lot of sense. This is a competitive space in terms of customer service support. This company was started by 4 Irish guys, Owen. Owen's last name and 3 others, and they really looked at the stuff that we wrote about in the Harvard Business Review on changing your organization to really deal with design with dialogue. Like, when does the machine lead? When does the person lead? How do you improve the models over time? And and to me, it makes the important point that they don't use this language, but generative AI is not a technology; it's a capability, and you have to grow a capability. You can buy a technology, and they're clearly committed to growing the symbiosis between silicon intelligence and human intelligence. I was a little disappointed in terms of this is an area where we can have tons of economics and tons of transaction information, and I mean call center and customer support. There's fantastic measures that people measure to on a regular basis. Whether it be length of call, quality of call, first call resolution, leverage in the call center. Cost per call, repurchase. Call centers are alight with wonderful data. None of it shared here, so that was disappointing. That's why I was ready to give it an essential. I figured, okay, they're going to give me the economics at the end or the operational statistics, and they gave me nothing. So part of my disappointment may be reflected in my rating.
Yeah, but okay. So optional important. What did you think, Ankash?
I think for all the things that John mentioned, Luda, important for me.
Okay.
These are really good lessons from someone who started their journey early with Gen AI. So really important lessons, I would say. And we have seen these lessons iterating over multiple articles previously as well. So important for me.
Sandeep, what did you think?
So I'm going to go the exact opposite, and I'm going to say essential for a very specific reason. By the way, the article was leaving a lot to be wanted. It was shallow. It could really go deep and build a lot of the concepts that they describe, but they describe a mindset that truly is missing in corporations right now on how do you create this culture of AI first approach. And this dedication to scientific approach and early experiment often, and stay with the technology growth and advancement is key to adopting Gen AI. And I think in my experience, it's completely missing in most organizations because it's laissez-faire and everybody's running around with their little POC and not getting anywhere. And so for that reason, I'd say from a mindset perspective, how do you get the organization's leadership aligned to something that you can live with? This really does a very good job of getting us in that direction. Does it do a good job to get you home? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So it needs more details, more follow-on, but from high-level brain thinking perspective, I'd say essential.
Okay. Paul, what were your thoughts? We have a range here. What do you think?
I'm giving my vote to Sandeep here. So I'm in a democracy. I'm selling my vote for free or 0%.
I'm going to cut it to important for the reason, yes, there are great themes, great lessons, but they didn't take them home. And so for that, it's worth reading, but not quite essential in my book. So Sandeep, can you leave with important?
You can twist my arm. I would like to see a lot more detail, just like John was saying.
Okay.
And it's so obvious that you could build on these details, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not that rocket science to do that.
When I'm thinking about when I'm going to, send our newsletter out, I am going to feature this for the very reason Sandeep said. So Sandeep, you kind of talked me into essential. I don't know, in the sense of...
yeah, but the article has a lot to be desired. So we can't send people to make it as essential, right? And then they say, what?
Yeah, but
deep trends here, but not the right article.
But not all executives are as numeric as we are.
Okay. All right. Important. Let's proceed. Ankash, please.
I see democracy lost there. There we go.
Somebody has to take a call.
Somebody has to talk, see?
The constitutional republic. That's what I'm for.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to the next one. The last one that we have for today comes from Google and talks about Lang Extract, which is a Gemini-powered information extraction library.
Yeah, it's a library. And to Vivek's point about the prior RAG article, that it's especially useful for knowledge mining in healthcare. So this one is interesting because they actually, so it's a library of tools, and it seems like I didn't test it, but I asked Perplexity to compare it with other tools of the same ilk, and Perplexity gave it a differentiator, saying it's very precise source mapping, reliable structured outputs rather, and scalable extraction for long documents, and transparency. So Perplexity thinks it's way ahead of competitors. So I said, I actually didn't test it, so don't know, but it looks actually good when looking at the examples they produce. So I was in the important camp. What did you think, Sandeep?
So I did not read the article carefully enough to make a true judgment call. That said, it is essential for a certain class of people, not necessarily all the executives or all the leaders in an organization, but certainly the AI engineer needs to absolutely be aware of some of the advances that are being proposed here in this capability by Google.
Okay. Thank you, Sandeep. Ankash, what did you think?
Luda, I think this was an important one, given that it's related a bit to RAG as well, right? So basically, Lang Extract is an open source Python tool which helps you extract structured data from unstructured text, and it uses some of the methodology that is used in RAG extraction. So basically, it can handle million token contexts by chunking, parallel processing, and multipass extraction. So really advancing the methodology from a RAG perspective as well, providing an easy way to developers to do those things which really took a lot of time earlier.
Yeah.
So I was important from that perspective, but still seems it needs to be tested to be sure.
Okay. Thank you, Ankash. John?
Yeah, optional for me. I thought it was not that well argued. Kind of a thin article. Yeah, that I didn't.
You were in the
I
optional.
was way
Okay.
optional.
Paul, your thoughts?
Optional, definitely deep technical level, too technical. And I just want to highlight some of the Sandeep, your fans online, Vivek and Calvin are really enjoying your commentary. So great to
Thank
see
you. Thank you.
Yeah, you got some fans going. Okay, let's put it as optional for now, because it's really a product announcement, not quite clear how it performs yet. Okay, so putting it as optional, let's proceed to the scorecard, Ankash. Any announcements, Paul, John, in the meantime?
Yeah, the buyer's guide has really come together. I think we've got some interesting predictions in there, as well as trend analysis. The other thing that I'd like to highlight is that we're very happy to have IBM as a sponsor now on our work for our conference on September 29 and 30 in Boston, and that's going to be great because they are obviously a big component of the business to business part of adopting generative AI. And I think an organization that doesn't get as much credit and notoriety as it ought to.
And Learning Lab on Monday at 7 Eastern, we're going to be reviewing the updates on our buyer's guide that Ankash led a really expensive team on it. We have 2x2s and having a lot of great feedback on it. So tune in to Monday at 7, sign up via Meetup.
Thank you, Paul. So for today, we have 1 essential, 3 important, and 2 optional. So thank you, Sandeep, for joining. You got fans and wanting you to join us more often. So we will reach out to you. And thank you, everyone, for joining and commenting. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you on Monday. Happy Friday and happy weekend.
Great. Thanks,
Thank
Sandeep.
you. Bye.
Bye.